All right, everybody, we're here with Derek, head brewer of Abnormal. He's also the curator here at the Cork and Craft here in Rancho Bernardo. Say hi to Beers and Cameras real quick.
Hi, Beers and Cameras.
Awesome. So we're here. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, where are we located, and what's all Abnormal all about?
So Abnormal Beer Company is located in the Cork and Craft, which is also within the roof of Abnormal Wine Company. So it's San Diego's only brewery, winery, restaurant under one roof. We're an upscale, nice restaurant, as well as an in-house brewery and in-house winery. We also offer guest wines, guest beer. So the overall experience with food, beer, and wine is what we can have right here.
Cool. So what got you into brewing, and what got you into making beer?
Oh, okay. So I saw a friend's dad brew in his backyard, and that kind of sparked my interest.
Buckets and everything, just doing
all well, he was like brewing, he was like chilling it down in his pool.
Okay.
You know, so
old school way.
Yeah, just like whatever you can do to make it work, and that's kind of like what brewing is. So saw that, blew my mind, bought a book, bought some equipment, just started experimenting, fell in love with it. I did graduate from Cal State San Marcos with a marketing degree, but I put that aside because I wanted to brew.
I also have a marketing degree. So
all right,
there you
great,
go.
Yeah. So I wanted to use that later because what I was all about right now, or at that time, was brewing. I wanted to get into the craft. I wanted to learn as much as possible, and that was what initially sparked my interest, was seeing a friend's dad brew in his backyard, and hit the ground running ever since.
Awesome. So how long ago was that?
That was in 2007.
2007, cool.
Yeah.
So almost a decade of brewing beer right now.
Yeah.
And it's awesome, it's delicious. So what am I drinking? What are you drinking? I want to know what these beers are.
So what? We'll start with this one. So this one's a Bosphor IPA. It's our house IPA, and it's the dry hops are Nelson and Citra, just giving those big floral, tropical fruit, citrus characteristics. But you notice that it's pretty light for an IPA.
Yeah,
but
it's
I think
very,
that's
very see-through, very
San
clear.
Diego, West Coast, that's what we like. We like the very low malt bill, less caramel, less toastiness, and just a big burst in hop flavor and aroma. And I think that's what I kind of model my IPAs after. Contrary to that would be what you're drinking. And this is a double IPA, but this is one of the collaborations that I've done. It's a collaborative beer with the Lost Abbey.
Awesome.
It's actually a West Coast double IPA, which is, it's not Belgian inspired. It's San Diego inspired.
Yeah, no,
it's kind of odd for Lost Abbey, but what they want to do was let them pick out the hops, which is totally fine. It's a nice balance of hops with Centennial, Idaho 7, Citra, and Mosaic. But what we did with this one was we added a little bit of a touch of caramel to kind of balance out the bitterness.
Even it out, keel it out.
Yeah, so you didn't want it to be too boozy. You wanted to add back that slight sweetness, and that's what we did with that one. So you notice between the two, it's a little bit darker, but just a touch to kind of round out that bitterness and that alcohol.
And what's the alcohol percentage on this one? What's the ABV?
That one is 9%, and this one's 7%.
Wow.
But hopefully it doesn't drink like that. That's
you can drink this all day, literally.
Drinkability, flavor focused. Also, all the beers are gluten reduced.
Okay.
We do use the enzyme Clarity Firm, so that every single one of the beers is less than 20 parts per million of gluten.
Awesome. No, this drinks like an IPA. It drinks even like a kind of a light IPA. I can literally drink this all day. I would not guess this is 9% at all.
And we made that for the collaborative beer dinners that we do every month. So we take a guest brewery, a guest chef, and we make a 7 to 11 course dinner menu, and a combination of the guest brewery's beers, one of mine, and then a collaboration beer between the two of us.
Okay.
So with this last month, it was Lost Abbey that came in, and we decided to make that beer and debut it at the dinner, and we did a pairing for it.
Yeah, this would be like my ideal dinner beer right here. This is awesome. It's amazing.
Thank you.
So you went from Cal State San Marcos, and then now you're teaching at San Diego State?
Well, I went to Cal State San Marcos, got a marketing degree, and I was in the beer industry. So I graduated in 2008, and then got into the industry 2010 to now. Worked 4 years at Carl Strauss as a brewer, then sales rep. So 2 years in the brewery, 2 years sales rep, and then I moved over here, and I do pretty much all that. I do the sales, I do the brewing, I curate the tap list, help with the marketing. Like now I'm kind of using it, but while I was doing this, I got offered that position to teach in the extended studies program at San Diego State.
Yeah.
which is a focus on the business of craft beer, not necessarily the brewing.
Yeah, I didn't even know San Diego State was doing like a craft beer
extended
kind of
studies program. So it's not like it's undergrad or anything. It's you sign up for it, and it's part of the like adult education program.
Yeah.
So what I do is I teach marketing craft beer, and I teach marketing concepts and how to apply them to craft beer.
Awesome.
So building a brand, PR, sales, digital marketing, like who to donate to.
Is there a class full? Like, I mean, I'm assuming San Diego is like the mecca of kind of craft beer. Everybody kind of wants to get into the business. There was a thing with, what was the thing downtown, that there was a big production of how to market craft beer and stuff like that. That was just at a convention center. So, I mean, I would assume this is packed for you.
This class I just finished up was 36 classes, or 36 students. But before it was always 50 plus.
Okay.
So it kind of varies.
Yeah.
Depending
That's still
on
a great
the time of
turnout
year.
for a class. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're all enthusiastic. Do you give them beer in class? San Diego State. Do you
Yeah.
drink in your school?
3 out of the 6 weeks we're drinking beer.
Woo!
Yeah.
Who are the people that attend that class?
These are people that either want to further their career within craft beer or wanted to get into the craft beer industry. So with this, it's not something necessarily that most of them will use right away, but they understand the concepts. They understand how it is and what it takes to take a beer and market it to the market.
To the general public.
To their target audience. Not just the general public,
Yeah,
but to their target market.
To the demographic.
So that's why, that's why I teach. You know, it's like who's your audience? Who are you trying to sell to? And how are you going to cater your product to be enticing for them to purchase?
Yeah. And do you blend it basically when you're teaching all this stuff? Do you blend it with like the beer taste and the beer quality and what they're doing? Like, I mean, it's completely different to market a Bud Light than it is to market even a Carl Strauss or even a Lost Abbey or even Abnormal.
So what I do is I give them a beer completely unnamed. I don't tell them the brewery. I don't tell them the alcohol percentage. I don't even tell them the style. And what they have to do within their final project, and it's not a test or anything, it's a final assignment to where they take that unnamed beer, they decide what it is, and they have to create a marketing plan to bring it to their target audience.
Okay.
So they have to determine whether they want it in bottles, whether they want it in draft, what's the name of it, what's the style, what's the ABV, and how are we going to promote it to the public through social media?
Wow.
Are we going to go street team? Are we going to go like bars? What are we going to do? And each group provides a different explanation and final project on the same beer. So you could just see how marketing plays a role in business in general, but specifically
In
with
craft
that class, craft beer, because you can take this product any which way, and that is a prime example of how when each group shares their project, how it's so different from each other.
Yeah.
You know, and how they choose to market it, how they choose to package it, what price point they want to have it, and who their ideal customer is.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So how do you do that for beer? Talk about
Yeah, well, so we kind of just dove into that without kind of getting an intro to that, like a leading into that. So, so I'm just gonna do that really quick.
Can I say anything?
I'm just gonna ask you like,
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you basically how are you personally giving back to the craft beer community in this area, and then we'll go into San Diego State.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And say, when you say your answer, also say, I'm coaching you now. Like, will I teach at San Diego, and say San Diego State, and say
Yeah,
the
that'll be
course-
one of the reasons why,
the
yeah.
course you teach.
I'll just ask, like, what are you doing outside of Abnormal Beer Company for not even yourself, but craft beer in general?
Yeah, yeah.
And it starts with your collaborations. So I would say, like, I'm doing obviously these collaborative beers, but as well as I also teach in San Diego State Extended Studies. And
Yeah, I have a little bit more to say on the collaboration. I mean, just the whole
Yeah.
camaraderie of the whole
Yeah, awesome.
thing. Yeah.
I gotta figure out. Okay. So Abnormal's great, but the beer is obviously amazing. So what are you doing outside? Abnormal's great, but I hear you're doing a lot more things outside of actually Abnormal to give back to the community, as well as collaborations and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about that.
So for collaborating, we do the dinners. We do bring in a guest chef. We do bring in a guest brewery. And what that is to showcase the camaraderie of the industry and how we want to work with each other, want to learn from each other, and just provide these great experiences so that the public can kind of buy these tickets for these beer dinners and experience what we have to offer. It's fun for us, it's fun for the consumer, and it's just an overall great time. As far as San Diego State, I do teach at the Extended Studies program for Business of Craft Beer, I teach marketing craft beer, and what that is I instruct them on marketing concepts and how to apply that to craft beer. So we run through different classes such as building a brand, PR, sales, digital marketing, donations, who to donate to, complementary industries, working with different like coffee roasters or merchandise companies, chefs, like what we do here. It's all encompassing as far as how can you take craft beer and bring it to the public, and which different channels should you use and how you should use them.
So you talked about chefs, and you guys have a great menu. I just had the garlic pasta, which was tremendous. And so I hadn't eaten all day. I went right after the pasta because I needed
garlic
carbs.
Noodles.
Yeah,
Been
garlic noodles.
2 years here.
Yeah, they were amazing. So tell us a little bit about the menu. Do you choose the menu? Do you help choose the menu? Chefs out there, I saw everybody working, the whole team working, so it was very cool.
That's the whole chef. I mean, there's probably like 5-6 people working the dinner service, but throughout the day, you got, 12 people prepping for that dinner and the next dinner. Yep. There's just a lot of preparation and a lot of components that go into each one of the dishes that we serve here at the Cork and Craft. I have no real involvement in the menu that gets presented out into the dining room. That's all the chef and his team. Chef Phil Esteban, amazing, does a great job, and I mean, you experienced it. I mean, we're both, the things that are similar between the brewery and the restaurant is that we're flavor focused. We want to provide a good experience, and we want you to think about what you're tasting, what you're eating. So Abnormal Beer Company, I don't want to say that I'm an experimental brewer and that I'm making all these wacky beers, because I'm not. What I'm doing is I want you to have that abnormal mindset going into the beer. You go into the dining room, you eat the food, and you're thinking about where it's made, who's making it, what ingredients, what are the processes. I want that mindset to be brought over to the bar, to where you're tasting the beer and you want to know what hops are in there. You want to know what the fermentation process was. You want to know what the grain bill was. Why does this look like this? Why does this taste like that? That's the questions I want to ask. I want the customers to ask, and the staff, the entire staff, the chefs even, the servers, the bartenders, they're educated to understand what it takes to produce the beer and be able to explain it to the customer. And that actually goes into the design of the glassware, where it's a Willebecker style. It's a little bit thinner. I don't know. This is the perfect pint for me. Because it's also etched on the bottom, and what that does is it brings out CO2. It has nucleation points that brings CO2 out of solution, and you can see this still has a head, because the bubbles are consistently,
which is awesome.
It brings aromatics to the top, and
I can smell my beer all day. I don't know if I can smell my beer, but
I can smell
a beer.
Exactly. Beer's all around. But I wanted to design the glassware to have a great experience as well, and that just kind of goes down to the details that we want to implement here at the Cork and Craft, Abnormal Wine Company, Abnormal Beer Company. Just giving you the best possible experience.
Definitely. When I had the pasta earlier, when I had the garlic noodles, I was when I saw the dish, it didn't look like a normal dish to me. Like it was definitely like I saw that there was some kind of scallions or something in it, and I was definitely like I don't know what this looks like, and it was definitely a new experience. Paired it with a delicious beer, it was
even the entrees that we have, they're edible art. They're culinary arts, and I like to think of beer as fermentation arts. I mean, it's very similar, and that's why I get along with a lot of chefs, is we're taking our idea, we're applying it to a scientific technique, and out comes something new. Out comes what we create. What we create is our art. So what we have in our hands, that's unique. Nothing else tastes exactly like it, and that's why there's so many different beers out there, because each person has their own separate way of producing beer, producing food, producing wine. So
you're super passionate about your beer. I can tell it every time you say anything. What's next? What's next for Abnormal? What's coming down the pipes? What's the fun things that are coming?
Producing more beer and making people experience our beer in a wider footprint. So what we have here is the original space, and that's 4 fermenters. We expanded to 11 more fermenters, bigger in size. So we increased our brewery 5 times. And we're not using it all right now, but we eventually will. And we want to distribute out and let more people experience the beer and just kind of set a bigger footprint. We're just getting started here with the food, the beer, the wine, and we have a lot of potential. And it's just wait and see what happens,
Why'd you guys choose RB? Why'd you guys choose Rancho Bernardo of all places? 92128, 92127 zip code?
Yeah, so the owners grew up around this area. They created Abnormal Wine Company, which was one of the 4 suites that we are in right now. They expanded and created the restaurant and the brewery. And it was just kind of building off of their wine company that has been here for over 3 years. Adding on the brewery, which has been around for just over 1.5 years, and the restaurant, which has been here almost 2 years, September 2014. So it's just building off of their wine company that was based here in Rancho Bernardo, and creating something in a neighborhood that seemed like there was a demand for a brewery.
Oh, there definitely
is. A
yeah.
restaurant, something nice, something for a place for people to go out, have fun, enjoy themselves.
Yeah, and you have a lot of the older generation in here. They're dying to get into the craft beer scene, but they don't want to drive to North Park. They don't want to drive down to actual downtown San Diego or anything like that. Yeah. So this is the perfect location for you guys.
Yeah, we're providing this experience right in their home.
Have you guys seen a good local response and everything like that around here?
We have a lot of regulars. We have, and we definitely cater to them as far as what their needs and what we want. Kind of like that balance of what they want and what we want to expose them to. We can't destroy them with all this super fancy stuff that goes over their head. We have to have this compromise where it's like, you've tasted this stuff, you're used to this in the area. Let's elevate that a little bit. Let's give you something that you never had before, but not too far-fetched.
Cool. Yeah. This one's done, and I don't sit on camera with an empty beer, so ding, 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 ding.
I thought I was supposed to finish mine. Sorry.
Yeah, he's got to check his too. He's going to ruin all the microphones. All the microphones are dead now. I got an awesome new beer. Look at this, fresh beer right over here. You guys can't see over here. Tell us what this one is. Tell us what this guy is.
So that one's Steampunk Ale. That one was made for what recently ended the San Diego County Fair. They asked me to produce a beer for it, and the theme of the fair was mad for the fair.
Yeah,
mad about the fair.
It
was a combination of Alice in Wonderland and steampunk, the science fiction.
It was great. Yeah, I went there and I saw some crazy things. It was
right.
awesome.
It was pretty fun. It was like you escaped to like Disneyland or something.
Exactly.
Like that. So Steampunk Ale. It's a California common. That's what the style is. And if you notice, we poured that like 30 minutes ago.
Yes. This has been
sitting
sitting over here for a while. Still cold,
still
and
bubbling.
Hot, and you got all the condensation.
It's the glass. It's the glass.
Yeah.
So you get a different experience with this glass than you do
We're all
with
about that
else.
glass. We're glass man. We're glass men.
So that's a California common, which another nickname for that is a steam beer. So with a steampunk ale, that's what we decided to create a steam beer and name it Steampunk Ale. It's a lager ale hybrid. It's basically an amber type grain bill that's fermented with lager yeast at ale temperatures and showcases the hop Northern Brewer, which gives kind of an earthy, minty kind of quality to it.
It almost gives me I'm tasting like a red out of it. Like it's very similar.
There's toasty notes in there. There's caramel notes in there. It's a very easy drinking beer, only 5.5%.
So way different than the 9% that I just chugged.
Exactly. So it's one of those pub beers that we want you to enjoy, but same thing, we're flavor focused. We want you to experience the nuances of that. So when I tell you caramel, toasty, earthy,
I can
minty,
feel it all already. My brain's already
think,
thinking that before you got
there.
Do
you get that or not? And that's what we want you to think about. We want to get your mind running when you're experiencing things here, because it's not just food filling your stomach. It's beer and food. It's the experience of it.
Exactly. What's your go-to meal and beer here at Abnormal and at Craft? I'll say it again. Yeah. So what's your go-to meal and beer here at the Cork and Craft with Abnormal?
Okay. I always try to have something new on it. I can't get away from the pork belly or the chicken wings.
I almost ordered that. I almost went that way.
And the beer of choice with that, I kind of don't go pairings. I go like the newest thing on tap.
Okay.
That, or I run through the entire catalog of a normal beer company at quality control.
Oh, okay.
I don't drink here too often.
Yeah, you got to get QC.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a little bit of hint of here and there. It's like,
and then I call an Uber because that's QC and that's a write-off at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's wings and pork belly are my favorite, but whatever's new on the menu is something I have to experience because I'm all about. We have 40 taps here and only 10 are Abnormal Beer Company.
Yeah.
I try to have a very rotational tap list.
And you obviously got to check out the competition and see what's doing awesome out there and see what you guys can pair up with and
Of course. But it's really just providing the best for the customers. And I'm a fan of beer.
Yeah.
And I gotta have what I like on the taps as beyond just what I make.
Yeah.
You know.
Why should everybody come to Rancho Bernardo? I know it's a little bit of a drive for people down south.
It's not too far.
Yeah, it's not too far. It's just
worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's might be the main reason why. But so why should everybody come to the Cork and Craft and come check out Abnormal Brewing Company?
San Diego's only brewery, winery, and restaurant under one roof. We always have something interesting going on. A lot of events. We even have a private dining room for you to rent out. So it's 4 different suites that we just turned into a culinary experience. You really have to make the trek because a lot of people do and they are not disappointed. Yeah.
And if they come down here and they drink too much, can they stay at your house?
I live in North Park, so no. We got plenty of hotels around here. Yeah.
Uber's not that much.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Derek, head brewer of Abnormal Beer Company. Thank you for having us inside your brewery. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Beers and Cameras.
Of course.
Yeah, this is great. I love what you guys do. We have just I don't think like a great backdrop as far as like photography, and we really appreciate the art that you guys do, and the art that we do kind of coincides, and like we
It
could
definitely
take,
does. Yep.
drink our beer, eat our food, and
we're gonna take
we'll appreciate
awesome
your
photos
pictures.
of it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So cheers, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Here we go.